Have you ever come across a dating profile that says, I have a terminal illness? Because that's what mine said. I was completely single when I first got diagnosed with ALS and told that I would have 2 to 5 years to live. I sort of assumed that dating would not be part of my story. I actually remember going to brunch with Jackie and her mom and being like, look, if life is a pie and each slice is like you have your career, you have travel, you have family, you have friends, and you have love, maybe I just don't have that pie slice in my lifetime. And that's okay. I'm very happy with all the other parts. I remember her mom being like, well, your life isn't over. Like, don't count anything out yet. She was right. I think I was so early on in my diagnosis that I kind of just assumed like life stopped and froze at the time of my diagnosis and that I wouldn't be able to experience new things or add things to my life. Shortly after that, I downloaded dating apps. There's no handbook for dating with any kind of serious diagnosis. So when I first joined the dating apps, I didn't write about my diagnosis on my profile because I was too embarrassed, and I was like, who would want to go on a date with someone if they know they have this like shortened lifespan? And then I went on a couple of first dates and I just found it to be super awkward. Like, I'd show up using a cane or with like big leg braces, and people try to be polite, but there's really no way to not talk about it. They're like, oh, what's going on? Then I decided to actually put my diagnosis on my profile. I was diagnosed with ALS. Hope you're looking for a 2 to 5 year relationship. And that way I felt like guys could kind of process the information. I was letting them eliminate themselves rather than having to put all this pressure on myself. My favorite part of the dating apps was I would make a lot of jokes about ALS and I would see their responses. Those were actually some of my first TikTok videos that went viral. I'll link this to that playlist so you can see, like, I got some of the funniest responses. But then a few months into the dating apps, an old friend reached out. So my sister and her husband have been trying to set me up with her husband's best friend for years, but we never lived in the same state, so we always just kind of laughed them off. I remember he sent me a text when I moved back being like, hey Brooke, it's Eric's friend Brian, heard you moved back. And I wrote back like, tell Eric he can remove the gun from the side of your head now. Like, I thought for sure my brother-in-law and my sister were just forcing him to hang out with me. And we pretty much started hanging out ever since then. And now we've been dating for like a year and a half. It's interesting dating with such a scary diagnosis because you have to have some really heavy conversations that neither of you wants to have. Like, I think on our second date, I asked him if he wanted kids. And then I think on our like fourth date, I asked if he would wipe my butt if I lose the ability to use my hands. And he said yes. So what is romance if not offering to wipe your significant other's butt, I feel like there's so much that I probably missed in this video. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment. But keep in mind, I was flying by the seat of my pants.